Friend, I know life hasn't always been easy for you. You've walked through days so quiet, it felt like nobody saw you. You've sat alone in your car, wondering why the love you give never seems to come back. You've scrolled through everyone else's highlight reels while battling storms that never make it to your story. And in those moments, it feels like peace is for other people, like calm is for someone else's life. But can I tell you something today? You don't have to live in constant reaction. You don't have to be a prisoner to your emotions or what didn't work out. There is a deeper power inside you, a quiet strength that the world didn't give and the world can't take away. You don't have to control every situation to find peace. You just need to train your mind to stop running with the storm. Just like the ocean may roar at the surface, but deep down it's still. You can live from that still place inside you. And when you do, you won't just survive your situations. You'll start shaping them. Your presence will speak louder than your words. Your calm will disarm chaos, and the same mind that once kept you up at night will become the sanctuary that gives you rest. So stay with me. We're going to talk about how to build that calm, not from pretending the pain isn't real, but from walking through it with power, with intention, and with peace. You can't stop the storms of life. They'll come whether you're ready or not. Through a breakup you didn't see coming, a layoff that wasn't fair, or nights that feel colder than they should. But hear me, friend, the storm was never the real threat. What matters is where you're anchored. When a ship is caught in a hurricane, it doesn't survive by controlling the waves. It survives by staying grounded in something deeper than the surface, and your life is no different. Most of us weren't taught how to anchor ourselves. We were taught how to respond, lash out when we feel disrespected, shut down when we feel unloved, chase people just to feel seen. But the problem with reacting is that it puts the storm in charge, and you were never meant to be at the mercy of your circumstances. Your anchor has to be stronger than your emotions. That doesn't mean you pretend the wind isn't blowing. It means you decide what holds you steady while it does. And for you, that anchor has to be truth, not opinion, not memory, not insecurity. Truth. The truth is, you are not defined by your lowest moment. You are not the breakup. You are not the rejection. You are not how someone else failed to love you. You are not the silence you sit in at night. You are becoming something stronger, and the only way to rise above your pain is to root yourself deeper than the pain can reach. That means in the middle of your storm, speak to your soul. Say, I may feel forgotten, but I'm not forsaken. Say, this is hard, but it's not the end. You may not be able to stop the wind, but you can stop it from blowing you off course. Every storm reveals something. It either breaks you down or shows you how deep your anchor really goes. So today, don't pray for fewer storms, pray for a stronger anchor. Because when you're rooted in who you are and whose you are, even the fiercest waves will have to break around you, not within you. Friend, I know you've been waiting for that text that never comes, the apology that never arrives, the explanation that might help you sleep a little better at night. You tell yourself, if I just knew why they did it, maybe I could move on. But can I lovingly challenge that thought? Closure is a myth when it comes from someone else, because the people who broke you often can't heal you. Not because you don't matter, but because they never had the tools in the first place. Closure suggests that someone else can give you peace. But clarity, that's something you give yourself. Clarity says, even if I never get the apology, I can still get my power back. You see, Chasing closure often keeps us tied to a version of the past that doesn't want to change. It leaves us standing at a locked door, hoping someone else will come and open it. But you were never meant to wait on the outside of your own healing. Clarity is different. It doesn't need an explanation to move forward. It doesn't excuse what happened, but it understands something deeper. That hurt may have shaped me, but it does not define me. When you step into clarity, you start to see the situation through a new lens. You stop asking, why did they leave? And start asking, what did I learn? You stop wondering, why wasn't I enough for them? And realize maybe they were never meant to handle someone like me. Clarity gives you the freedom to grieve without staying stuck, to forgive without needing to reconcile, to let go not because they were right, but because you're ready. And hear me on this. You don't need someone else to tell you you're valuable. God already did that when He created you. He already said you were fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are chosen, worthy, redeemed not because someone stayed, but because He never left. So stop giving the keys to your healing to the very people who broke your heart. Closure is optional. Clarity is transformational. Choose clarity and watch your peace return like the sunrise, quiet, steady, and undeniable. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that strength means staying silent, that to be a man is to hold it all in, to clench your jaw, swallow your tears, and keep moving like nothing ever rattles you. But let me tell you, that's not strength. That's suppression, and suppression doesn't make you stronger. It makes you heavier, because anything you bury alive inside you doesn't die, it just grows in the dark. God didn't design you to be numb. He designed you to feel. Not so your emotions could control you, but so they could guide you. Pain isn't weakness, it's a signal. Grief, anger, sadness. These aren't flaws in your design. They're invitations to pause, reflect, and respond with intention, not reaction. Stillness is what gives you that power. See, emotional strength doesn't come from ignoring the storm. It comes from learning how to sit in it without letting it carry you away. When the world is loud, when temptation is screaming, when pressure is mounting, that's when stillness becomes your weapon. Stillness says, I can feel this pain, but I won't let it rule me. Stillness says, I'm angry, but I'll respond, not explode. Stillness says, I don't have to react to everything that tries to pull me out of character. It's in the stillness that God speaks clearest. Psalm 46:10 doesn't say fight harder or shut it down. It says, be still and know that I am God. That stillness isn't passive. It's powerful. It means you trust that you don't have to fix everything. You just have to stay grounded in who you are. When you train your mind to pause before reacting, to breathe before breaking, you begin to master your emotions rather than being mastered by them. You shift from survival mode to stability. So friend, the goal isn't to shut down how you feel. The goal is to stay rooted while you feel it. To find that sacred pause between stimulus and response, and let God meet you there. That's where emotional strength lives, not in pretending you're okay, but in knowing you'll still stand even when you're not. Friend, sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go. Now, that may sound cold or distant, but detachment isn't about giving up on people. It's about not losing yourself while trying to carry what was never yours to begin with. So many of us are emotionally drowning, not because of our own burdens, but because we've taken on everyone else's pain, problems, and chaos. We confuse compassion with codependence. We think, if I love them enough, maybe they'll change. But in the process, we stop showing up for ourselves. Can I tell you something that might free you today? It's not your job to fix people. It's not your assignment to rescue every soul that crosses your path. You can't bleed yourself dry trying to fill someone else's void. That's not strength. That's self-neglect. Detachment isn't rejection. It's protection. It says, I can love you without losing me. It's choosing peace over people, pleasing. It's recognizing when your presence has turned into a lifeboat for someone who refuses to swim. And yes, it's hard. Especially when your heart is big, when you want to be there, when you've seen their potential, but God never called you to be their savior. He already took care of that. Detachment means creating emotional space so you can see things clearly. When you're too close, you confuse toxicity with loyalty. You normalize dysfunction because you've been living in it so long. But when you step back, even just a little, you start to see truth. You start to ask better questions. Is this relationship feeding my peace or draining it? Am I helping or enabling? This isn't about becoming cold or heartless. No, it's about becoming whole, because you can't pour into others from an empty cup. You can't show up in strength if you've been hollowed out by stress. Jesus himself often withdrew to lonely places to pray, not because he didn't care, but because he knew the value of restoration. You can care deeply and still choose boundaries. You can love fully and still walk away when love becomes sacrifice without return. So let today be the day you stop calling exhaustion loyalty. Detachment isn't giving up on them, it's choosing to finally come back to you. Let me ask you a question, friend. Who are you when no one is clapping? Because for so many of us, our peace rises and falls on performance. If we succeed, we feel valuable. If we fail, we feel invisible. We've tied our identity to outcomes, relationships, careers, bodies, bank accounts. And then we wonder why our self-worth feels like a roller coaster. But hear this clearly. Identity must be rooted, not rewarded. See, the world teaches you that you become valuable after you accomplish something. After you get the girl, after you make 6 figures, after your name carries weight. But God's word flips that. He says you're valuable before you ever prove a thing. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, not because of what you could offer, but because of who you are. And until you anchor your identity in that truth, you'll always chase peace in the next achievement, only to find it slips right through your fingers. The enemy doesn't have to destroy you, he just has to confuse you. Because if you forget who you are, you'll settle for who the world says you should be. You'll wear labels you never chose. You'll start to hustle for approval when God already gave you acceptance. Your identity is not a trophy to earn. It's a truth to remember, and the truth is, you're not just a man trying to make it. You're a child of God. You're chosen, you're called, you're equipped. You are not what you've done, and you're not what was done to you. You are who God says you are, and He says you are enough. This shift from performance to presence will change everything. Because once you know your worth, you stop trying to earn love that was already yours. You stop trying to impress people who don't even know your full story. You stop measuring yourself by temporary wins and start living from eternal truth. Friend, identity is the root. And when the root is strong, the fruit will follow. Don't wait for the world to validate what God already called good. Stand firm, walk tall, live from your worth, not toward it, because when you know who you are, no storm, no silence, no setback can take it from you. Friend, what you repeat you believe. Whether you realize it or not, your mind is always listening. And it doesn't care if what you say is true or not. It simply builds patterns around what you feed it. That's why the voices you listen to The words you say to yourself and the thoughts you allow to take root, they matter more than you think. Most of us live in mental spaces we never meant to build. We rehearse the pain, we replay the rejection. We repeat words like not good enough, too broken, always alone, until they start to feel like facts. But just because a thought is familiar doesn't mean it's true. You don't break that cycle with one motivational quote. You don't silence years of negative self-talk with a single affirmation. You change it through repetition. Romans 12:2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind," not a one-time upgrade, renewing meaning daily. Repetitive, intentional. Peace isn't always a feeling. Sometimes it's a habit, and habits are built through repetition. Every time you choose truth over fear, you're training your mind. Every time you speak life instead of shame, you're laying new mental tracks. Every time you pause to pray instead of panic, you're building refuge in your spirit. You may not feel different after one day. But just like a muscle strengthens over time, so does your mind. Consistency carves character. Repetition rewires reality. Start simple. Speak truth over yourself every morning. I am not what I lost. I am not what they said. I am chosen. I am strong. I am becoming. Say it even when it doesn't feel real, especially when it doesn't feel real. Because the enemy's goal is to wear you down with lies. But you can wear them out with truth. Your mind is not your enemy. It just needs new instructions. And the more you give it peace, purpose, and presence, the more it will return those things back to you. Repetition isn't boring, it's holy. It's how you turn fleeting inspiration into a fortress of faith. So build your refuge brick by brick, word by word, because what you repeat today becomes the rhythm you live by tomorrow.